about democracy under siege. And we're joined by CIC Chairman Charles Nyachae. Welcome to the Power Breakfast Show.
Thank you, Martin.
Very well. It's been a tight season for the president. It's just the first year, and things are really hard on him.
Well, I think there is, Makazi, I think there's a sense in which that is inevitable. First of all, I mean, I think being president is always going to be, it comes with the territory. But also, let's remember that this is the president who is head of state, head of the national government, the first to be in that situation when the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is fully implemented. Now that comes with many aspects to it about governance, changes in how we do things, and the structure of government. So it's in a sense it was not going to be easy.
It wasn't going to be easy. Would you agree with us that democracy is under siege?
No, Makazi, I think that's probably an exaggeration, but I would agree with you that you know, we are at a point in terms of settling down to the new democratic constitutional dispensation. We are at a time that we are facing great challenges, and I think there's a lot to be done in terms of appreciation of the Constitution and the various structures and institutions in the Constitution, and acceptance of the change that the new constitutional dispensation brings, and a commitment to reform that is heralded in the Constitution. So it's not an easy time. But I remain optimistic, and my position is that if we as Kenyans are still committed to this constitution in letter and spirit, so what we are addressing really is how best we implement it. I think with that in mind, we can overcome without you know, ignoring, pushing away, or belittling the challenges that we have. I think they can be overcome.
There are serious problems, challenges as you call them. Some of them governance, some of the others money. The members of the county assemblies, they have not been working. There is no way counties can operate with striking parliamentarians. Because those
yes.
county MPs.
Yes, true.
The county looks like in limbo, except places like where governors take the initiative. But they can't do much without approval.
Yes.
Then there is issue, the war between the National Assembly and the Senate. National Assembly or the Parliament and the judiciary.
Okay.
If you are president, what would you do?
It's tight.
Well, first of all, there is only so much the president can do, because the president is also a constitutional office holder with a specific constitutional mandate. Agreed that he is head of state, but I think to expect that it is the president who will provide the solution to all these problems would one, have no constitutional basis, and would be unfair and unrealistic. Having said that, of course, he's one of the major players who, even beyond his own mandate in the Constitution, can play an important part towards addressing all those issues. Let me make a quick comment on each one of them, Mutegi. As far as the members of the county assemblies are concerned, and we are on record as saying this, one, county assemblies are a very important part of the structure of the devolved government system. And if they don't work, then a devolution doesn't work. So it's important that county governments are facilitated, and I mean county assembly members are facilitated and empowered to be able to deliver on their mandates. And this is why we have kept urging the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, which is the correct body to address the issues of that concern the MCAs, to do that within their mandate as speedily as is possible. And to that extent, we think it is legitimate on the part of MCAs to seek for their terms of office to be streamlined. Having said that, and again, I've said this publicly before, that cannot be a basis for which then the members of county assemblies stop performing their constitutional obligations, because that has several consequences. One of them, if they continue like that, the county government simply will not be able to operate, because there are a number of things that have to be done with their approval. If they don't do it, then the county government will come to a halt. And the consequence of that, and I've said this before, is that it is not the Salaries and Remuneration Commission which takes the brunt of that. It is the people whom they have been elected to serve. Secondly, we don't want to get into a situation where county governments are failing, and then therefore the other mechanisms that are in the Constitution and in the County Governments Act relating to failed county governments kick in, because that will be a major problem, because you will have scenarios where the national government is now appearing to be taking over some of those functions, and that defeats the whole purpose. So my plea, our plea as a commission to the MCAs is, yes, by all means pursue your cause insofar as your terms are concerned, but do that as you continue to discharge your constitutional functions. The second issue you've raised, Mutegi, is relates to the relationship between the two houses of parliament. Now, our position always has been the Constitution is fairly clear on this. And contrary to what has been stated on the floor of both houses, I think that there is plenty that is provided for in that Constitution if they work together for each. If you look at Articles 94, which deals with Parliament as a whole, the two houses, 95 deals with the National Assembly, and 96 deals with the Senate. There is plenty there to be done. And beyond there, where there is any conflict or any dispute or any need for clarification, that's why we have the courts. And I thought it was very good for our constitutional growth when the Senate went to seek an opinion from the Supreme Court with regard to the Division of Revenue Bill. The Constitutional Court gave a lucid opinion on the matter, and I think that should provide a clear direction in terms of the significant role of each of the two houses. Now, beyond there is only so much, Mutegi, that the court can do. There are certain practical issues that need to be addressed by the two houses, by the two speakers, on how they operate day to day, in terms of how they determine which bill involves one house and not the other, which one involves both houses. If there are, the Constitution provides mechanisms for disputes.
Is it possible? Is it feasible for the one of the speakers to say the Supreme Court is that his own opinion?
No, can you ignore? No, you cannot ignore the opinion of the Supreme Court, because then Mutegi, which is going to bring me to my my answer to your last point.
Yes.
And maybe as I answer that, it will answer this question as well, and that is the apparent. No, scratch that. The actual looming constitutional crisis. Between the National Assembly on the one hand and the judiciary on the other hand. This seems to have been precipitated by two sets of actions. The first set of action that seems to have contributed to this crisis was the failure or refusal by members of the Judicial Service Commission to appear before a parliamentary committee. Now,
but they did appear through a lawyer.
No. That is not appearance.
No.
If you read Article 125, and I want to read it because the wording is very clear. And I mean Article 125 of the Constitution, it says, either House of Parliament and any of its committees has power to summon any person, Mutegi, to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing information.
Any person includes the president?
Yes.
Any person?
Yeah, absolutely. Parliament can summon the president. The Constitution is clear. Any person. And person means an individual. Person means an institution. I think we must be careful not to confuse two issues. If, for example, any constitutional commission is summoned or is summoned by a parliamentary committee, we have a constitutional obligation to appear. Now, if we appear there, and what Parliament seeks to do is to direct us in how we do our work, then we will plead Article 249 of the Constitution, which says that we cannot be directed by any person again in terms of how we do our work. But Parliament has an oversight role on all state organs. So it's absolutely out of order for anybody to fail to appear before a parliamentary committee.
What about this argument of separation of powers? Because that was what was brought to the fore.
You see, separation of powers is a constitutional theory which we all accept. But separation of powers is different from the argument that because we are a different arm of government, then you have nothing to do with us. You cannot tell us what to do. Separation of powers is within the context, of our constitutional architecture, which gives each of those arms of government a legitimate mandate in how they relate to each other. That is why Parliament is able to play its oversight role as regards the executive. And that is why, and that brings me to the other side of the coin about this looming crisis, that is why, if you read Article 159 of the Constitution, which is the one that states that the judiciary exercises on behalf of the people, the judiciary exercises judicial authority. And 159 says it will the judiciary will dispense justice without regard to status. 159 also states, and in the context of the view expressed in Parliament that the courts cannot, the decision of the courts cannot affect Parliament. This is not correct, because if you read 159, 159 is the one which deals with the judicial authority. Now, if you look at the jurisdiction of the High Court under Article 166, the High Court has jurisdiction to hear any question respecting the interpretation of this Constitution, including the determination of A, the question whether any law is inconsistent with or in contravention of the Constitution, B, the question whether anything said to be done under the authority of this Constitution or of any law is inconsistent with or in contravention of this Constitution. What does that mean, Mutegi? It means that ultimately, on any issue of the Constitution and who has powers and how they can be exercised, that is the preserve of the judiciary. I read nothing in this Constitution which protects any organ, including Parliament, from the judicial authority of the judiciary. In the same way that the courts and the judiciary cannot be protected from the legislative authority of Parliament. So that if Parliament tomorrow chose, for example, to amend the Judicial Services Act, which affects directly the judiciary, that will be the law, and the judiciary will be bound by it. But our Constitution is clear that if the judiciary, in the exercise of its judicial authority that is given by the Constitution makes a ruling, nobody, absolutely nobody, can claim that they are exempt from the judicial authority of the court.
Generally speaking, looking at the Judicial Service Commission and, of course, the National Assembly, they all erred in one way or another in regards to the Constitution. What is the way forward in handling this turf?
Well, I think the way forward is to go back to the Constitution. We go back to the Constitution and shun away the emotions of the moment and what may be perceived as tough wars and so on. Let's just go back to the Constitution, look at it, and I think the Constitution is fairly clear. For example, I cannot see how any member of the Judicial Service Commission can get around Article 125. It's clear that Parliament can summon anybody, any person. That's the language of Parliament. I mean, you don't need to be a lawyer, Mutegi, to understand what any person means. Any person means any person.
Absolutely.
And I've just read what the Constitution says insofar as the other side of the coin, the judicial authority. And I think the way forward, Mwakazi, in terms of where we are at now, because I think mistakes have been committed, I think where we are at now, these organizations need to sit around the table. And that is why, as CIC, we have written to the President, we have expressed the view that this is a looming, very real constitutional crisis, which, if not checked, by the way, and I don't want to sound dramatic, but if it is not checked, we will end up in chaos. Because it means that each institution will determine when it can appreciate or respect the mandate of the other. That can only end up in...
When the court ruled